There's 100,000 mortgage companies in America, and there was only 1,000 that would ever buy my product. So my $40 million business was built off finding the 1% who are likely to buy my product and then attacking through phone, email, direct mail, LinkedIn. But I was going broke going after the 100,000 until I figured out who the 1,000 were and then attacked them. That's when our business went from $1 million to 5 to 10 to 20 to 40.
Welcome to the Business Builders Playbook, the show that breaks down the systems and strategies behind predictable revenue growth to win in business. In each episode, we're diving into the proven strategies that separate the winners who scale from the losers who fail. This show is sponsored by BDR.ai, the AI-powered business development platform that automates your outbound prospecting so you can focus in on closing deals instead of chasing leads. Let's get started. Welcome, everybody. Hey, super excited to have you on here live today. If you're watching live, if you're watching a recording of this, that's awesome as well. We'd love to see some feedback from you on what your best takeaways were. And today we're going to be talking about optimizing your sales playbook. We got 5 simple steps I'm going to walk through and help you to win more sales and to learn a little bit more about BDR.ai, the platform that we offer to help individuals to optimize their sales playbook, automate it, and use AI to maximize it. So first, a little bit of background. My brother Jeff and I are the owners of BDR.ai. Both of us have spent the last 25 years in sales, marketing, business ownership, coaching entrepreneurs and top sales executives on how to maximize their results. And so we're excited to get a chance to share with you some of our tips, tactics, and tools, strategies, best practices on what we have been able to prove out in the market and what we've been able to coach and consult others to leverage to maximize their opportunity. So I think that most people know what a playbook is. If you can see on my background, I have a jersey up. So I played the thing called football, arena football, U.S. football, for those of you that are international. I ended up playing football for 12 years. And so I'm very familiar with what a playbook is from a football sense. A business playbook might look a little different, but the concept is the same. It's a structured guide to help you to perform at your best and to beat out the competition and to win. And if you end up having a really good playbook for your sales team, and if that sales team is just you, you're still going to have better predictable success than not having a playbook at all. So the concept of having a playbook is just simply organizing these steps into a best practice or an optimized opportunity where you're getting the best possible outcomes. And so these simple 7 steps is the process that we use. It's been something that we've been very successful at in our own personal and professional journey. And it's also been something that we've been able to coach others and really help them to really fine tune. And a lot of owner operators, top sales executives, regional, executive vice president of sales, any C-suite level salesperson has probably had some interaction with a playbook, but maybe haven't had the best opportunities of learning how to refine it. So hopefully some of the things we're going to share today are going to help you to refine your sales playbook, and then maybe BDR.ai might be a resource for you. So the first step in the process of building out your sales playbook is really getting clear on your target audience. And so step number 1 in the process is making sure that you have clarified who your ideal client profile is and that you have a bona fide target audience that's been drilled down. You know who you're talking to, where they're at, how to find them, how to communicate with them, what's their best method of communication, what's the best delivery vehicle, and that's going to end up significantly shifting everything else that we're about to talk about. And my brother Jeff owned a direct mail company, marketing agency. He ended up selling that business 3 years ago for a nice 8-figure exit, but he did upwards of $40 million in revenue from this one particular thing, is that he was really good at helping business owners and sales leaders to target a list of prospects. And so, Jeff, do you want to talk a little bit about right data, right timing, and how to get better quality profiles of target audiences?
Yeah, I could chat on that a little bit. That's kind of what we did every day for our own business to grow our business. But because I was a marketing agency, I was having to figure out all my clients. What's your target audience and how do we attract them to you? They always say to get a good list, there's 40 million homeowners in America. but we had found out that there's only 4 million of them, 10%, that really could benefit from a refinance on their house. Like they're paying a really high rate, or they're getting divorced, or they need cash to put solar panels or a room addition. So we kind of figured out, hey, there's only 10% of the list is worth marketing to. So let's hammer that list. And that was our key to success, is just finding not just a good list. I mean, a good list is what every homeowner in America, I've got a good address. I know their name. I know the mortgage on their house. But let's look at timing. So good data is good timing. Who's in the market for this right now? What are they doing? How are they acting? What else are they doing where you think they'd be a good prospect for you? So yeah, that was a good list, and good data is really about timing, trying to find people in the market for your product, whether they're shopping online and Googling stuff. There's all kinds of intent data now where, hey, they Googled this the other day, so you want to reach out to that person. So I don't know, that's something that I could share. And the more we fine tune that, the more my business grew and the better I got at it for my customers, my clients, the more money they spent with me. So it's like my business is growing from finding the right list. There's 100,000 mortgage companies in America, and there was only 1,000 that would ever buy my product. So my $40 million business was built off finding the 1% who are likely to buy my product, and then attacking through phone, email, direct mail, LinkedIn, going after, the right list and just trying to penetrate that list. But I was going broke going after the 100,000 until I figured out who the 1,000 were and then attacked them. That's when our business went from $1 million to 5 to 10 to 20 to 40. Was just really, it was about the list, and how much attention you're giving to what part of the list. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Absolutely. I'm going to put a link in the chat message that everybody can take advantage of. This is what we call our business optimizer. And inside the business optimizer, it's a Google sheet that you can download, make a copy of it. Once you open it up, you can click on this file, and then you can click it on download, and you can download an Excel file, or you can download it a PDF version. You can see that there's a lot of different tabs down at the bottom of the screen that you can move my transcription. These little tabs are resources that we help business owners and top sales leaders to really get familiar with. And one of the things that you'll find inside of those tabs is the ideal client profile. And there's 15 questions that we like to encourage business owners and sales leaders to answer. And some people have gone through this process before, so it might just be a reminder, but it would be a really good thing to go back in and to answer these questions so that you know where you are going to find the best quality prospects. And once you have these answers, we can walk through with you. You don't even have to answer these questions. We can walk through these questions with you in a live Zoom meeting. And then we can go in there and show you the different data sources that we have access to that we can share with you as a service or just as a free version of looking up contacts. So you can find free contacts inside of LinkedIn, doing a filtered search. You can find free contacts in lots of different social media platforms if you're just using their search filters. But if you want the best quality data, we go to our third-party vendor partners, and we've sourced all of them. So we've got Zoom Info, we've got all the different major players out there that we can go to for data. And once we get that fine-tuned targeted client profile, then we can go in there and start appending for mobile phone numbers, LinkedIn addresses. So then you can begin to take that next step, which the next step in this 5-step process is moving to the point where you're actually going to crack your value proposition. And many of the people that we've talked to don't really actually have a clarified, unique value proposition. Some people may call it a unique selling proposition. But really, it's a matter of just simply saying, what is it that separates you from all the other people that are reaching out to that particular candidate? So when you think about the thing that sets you apart, what makes your solution or you unique? Why should your prospects care about what you do versus what everybody else does? So if this show is resonating with you and you're ready to take action because you want to scale your business faster, smarter, with more AI and technology and less labor, Check out BDR.ai. We help entrepreneurs and executive sales leaders to automate the grind of prospecting so you can focus your time on closing deals and growing revenue, where you should be spending your time. With AI-powered data, digital outreach automation, and done-for-you prospecting systems, you'll connect with more qualified leads, book more appointments, and build predictable revenue without adding more hours to your week or the week of your staff. Visit BDR today and discover how our AI Prospect Finder and digital BDR agents can help you to build your pipeline and your profits. Visit BDR.ai, where business builders learn how to automate and scale their playbook. Jeff, is there any specific unique value proposition that comes to mind that you could share that would be a good example? I've got a few of them, but is there anything that jumps out at you?
A couple years ago, I did an advertisement to car dealers because I did advertising for about 1,000 car dealers in the nation. And I sent this thing out saying, hey, what's different about your Toyota dealer? There's 4 Toyota dealers in driving distance. And I called it like Me Too advertising. That was a big mistake because the Me Too movement came out about time I was doing that. And that Me Too ended up being something very negative. And somebody called me. I was like, oh, it was interesting. So Me Too advertising is just everybody, you look like everybody else. How are you going to separate yourself? If you buy a new Toyota Sequoia from, Boston Toyota, we're going to do free oil changes for 3 years. That oil change costs you $20 and it brings them back to the service department. So how are you showing up different? It shouldn't always be about price. Everybody can cut their price, right? The cheapest, Costco made a lot of money last year making 10% profit margin, but that's frightening, right? They had to do billions of dollars in sales to pay for all those buildings and the employees with a 10% profit margin. It's why they're so busy, right? So anyways, just trying to separate yourself from the competition. Everybody's got competition. So what's different about you? It's so important. And then whatever is different about you, that's got to be in the call script when you're calling people. It's got to be in your emails. It's got to be in the LinkedIn reach out to separate you from everybody else because everybody's getting inundated with so many messages. It's really hard to stand out. It's not an easy task. I was at a copywriting seminar a few years ago where the guy broke out a pencil, passed it around to the audience and says, I want you to come up with all the ways this pencil is valuable, And it was amazing. There's 50 people in the room. I think we came up with 100 different uses of a pencil. Yeah, you can write with it. You can pencil fight. You can, scratch your ear. I mean, it was just amazing how 100 different uses of a pencil. And it was just a good example of like how you could make use of like different, products and offers and differentiate yourself and, your value proposition. It was a good exercise.
Nice. Grandson almost got in the door. It looked like he was sneaking in the back.
Somebody is busting in to write a check. They probably got to get checks out of my office. Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries. That's fun.
Was that Justin with my grandson with Jack? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Great moments. Anyway, so just a couple of ideas on helping you to refine your unique value proposition is, think about the things that are really going to help you to stand out from the competition. And some of these exercises that we go through when we're helping our clients to come up with a unique value proposition is they go, well, communication. I'm really good at communication. Well, couldn't your competition say the same thing? Couldn't they say that they're good with communication? Well, I'm really trustworthy. Those other guys, they're a bunch of crooks. Well, couldn't they say the same thing? Right? So how could you state something that would help you to elevate yourself in comparison to the others that they could not say the same thing or they wouldn't say the same thing because of the way that you uniquely positioned it? So what is it that you can do better, differently, that you can actually clearly identify? So from a timing standpoint, could you deliver something in a specific time frame where other people wouldn't make that same normal commitment or normal clarification when communicating with a prospective client or customer? What about the freemiums, the free things that we give? One of the things that BDR.ai does is that we provide you with free resources, free education, free consulting, free data. There's things that we can do that we bring to the table as a way to add value and reciprocity so that people know we're not just in it only if you're a customer, which a lot of our competitors, you can go online and you can find a lot of different data resources. You can find digital outreach and you can find dialers that can help you to dial more people, but you're not going to get the same comprehensive consulting and care and the freemiums that are provided with BDR.ai. Another one would be, could you provide a exclusivity? Is there certain things that you could do in terms of a unique opportunity that are not available through your competitors? How about the area of risk reduction? Is there anything that you could say or do? Is there a guarantee that you can provide that would eliminate? I know that we were just talking. I was just talking today, and I was talking with Dan, and Dan was saying that he has $1 million guarantee that he offers to his leadership clients. Now he gives that guarantee as a way to capture attention, which obviously when you hear $1 million guarantee, that is something like, well, let me know more about that. Not many of his competitors would not be able to say that they're offering $1 million guarantee, but that's one of the things that Dan's doing to separate himself from a lot of other leadership consultants and coaches out there. So what is it that you could do to reduce or eliminate risk? And then the other thing is social proof. So one of the things that I've encouraged clients to do is to think about, how many products or how many services that you have sold over the lifetime of your career or the lifetime of your business. So for Briar, what is the number of years that you have been in this industry that you're in? Because I'm assuming that would probably be one of your unique value propositions, because you have been around the industry for so many years. Your competitors, they probably wouldn't be able to say the same thing. So thinking about the number of years or the number of days, the number of weeks, the number of months, the number of people that you've served, the number of products that you've sold, or giving social proof of individuals who've had great services or products delivered by you that gave you a high level of a reference or gave you some endorsement or some level of testimonial that basically just eliminates the risk. And when you say, I have these influencers or I have these customers saying this about my product, that can end up helping you to stand out in a competitive marketplace. So the next step in the process is build a multi-channel communication vehicle that helps you to communicate to your prospective clients. When you are using a single source of communication, that can limit your ability to execute on your playbook. So being able to provide opportunities to communicate on social media, building connections on social media is extremely important. Using social messaging would be another one. Using emails, using calls, and using text. An omni-channel approach is going to always outperform a single source of communication. So when you're building out your playbook, you have to know your audience. What is their typical preferred method of communication? Email is becoming very passive in regards to gaining responses. So we're not seeing as many people that are able to utilize that email communication as a trustworthy strategy to attract new clients or even past clients back into the business. They have to be on social media. They have to be communicating through text messaging and obviously asking for permission. And they have to be able to be utilizing an outbound dialing strategy to actually engage those people by phone. Step 3, hopefully you've got a chance to kind of think through, what your customers are going to be most responsive to in terms of communication. What's their PMOC? What's their preferred method of communication? Step 4 in the playbook is developing an irresistible offer. So we use this cursors acronym as kind of like a test. When we look at your offer and when you share with us, hey, this is what I bring to the table, or this is what I'm sharing with a prospective client or candidate to help them to take the next step in our sales playbook, we go through this cursors evaluation to determine whether or not you're using the principles of creating an irresistible offer. So the first one is, are you comparing yourself and the advantages and disadvantages of using you in comparison to other people in the marketplace that they would be considering? That's just one principle. You don't have to use it, but it is one of the things that we're looking for. What are the differences? If I'm going to buy this service, I'm likely going to be comparing it against another service before I make an educated decision. So knowing that people are already going to be doing some shopping, you could say against the competition, these are the things that we do that we stand out. The next one is there a sense of urgency? Do you have a deadline on your offer? Or is it just ongoing? Because with a deadline, people are going to act based upon the fear of missing out, FOMO, more than they're going to act on the benefit of gain or the benefit of pleasure and whatever it is you have to offer. So if you create a deadline, if you create a time frame that requires them to act before a certain date, you're going to have a better chance of getting a response than if you don't have that sense of urgency. Reciprocity, offering an item of value, bringing valuable gifts, resources, something to the table that's going to help them to see that you're a value first player. Anytime that you are demanding them to take the first action and make the first investment, you're probably going to get a lower response rate than if you are giving them some item of value as a lead magnet or as a next step. So we're always looking for what is it that you're offering of value. The next one would be scarcity. Do you have a limited quantity? Now, you want to do this with ethical considerations, right? You don't want to make up things, but if you're the author and the creator of your offer, you can create an offer that is limited. You can choose to extend the quantity or the deadline, but creating a level of scarcity will create a sense of urgency that goes above and beyond a deadline, and that's extremely important to build into your sales playbook. The next one is that exclusive opportunity. What is it that you can do to make people a part of a exclusive group? So maybe there's an early release, maybe there's a waiting list, maybe there's something that's allowing people to separate themselves from all the other people out there, and they're making themselves feel special. The next one would be the risk reduction. So can you offer a guarantee inside your offer that's attractive to your marketplace that would be something that your competitors would not be offering? And then the last one is social proof. Do you have anything in your offer that shows that other people of a similar peer level have done what it is that you're asking your people to do? And can they see what their responses are? So, do you have any testimonials, endorsements, references inside of your offer or on your website that they could easily find to justify taking that action and responding to your offer? So, Jeff, what would you say, based upon all of the different principles of an irresistible offer? What was the thing that you were able to leverage most consistently, or what were the top 2 or 3 principles of creating an irresistible offer that got people to pick up the phone or to go to a computer and respond to the messaging that you were sending out?
Well, I remember interviewing my clients and finding out why they bought from me. And I always thought I knew. Oh, they're buying, my $40 million company that made $16 million in 2021. I thought I knew why they bought from me, right? I sell direct mail. Well, there's hundreds of people that sell direct mail 30% less than me, which was crazy. I mean, you want to talk about competitive, nationwide, cheap companies, big companies. And it was amazing to me that half the time they were paying us our 50-60% profit margin because of my staff. I really like the fact that your staff answers the phone and walks me through stuff. It was like, wow, they're paying a lot of extra money for service, and they appreciated that. So I was always putting more time into training the staff, bringing in copywriters and data experts so our staff could offer something to clients more than the next direct mail company down the road. Remember, my staff would say, you could buy that product for $5,000 down the street and we're $7,000. But one thing you're not going to get from the competitor down the street, you're not going to get me. They knew how valuable they were because they were coaching. So part of my secret was training my staff to know more than most people knew about the product and to offer a little bit more consulting. So kind of consultative sell. But another thing we did is everybody sold printing and letters and envelopes 30% cheaper. So I went to work adding on a few little products to my direct mail. Like if you buy direct mail from me, we're going to record all your phone calls and help train your staff to better answer the calls and close more deals. Well, that made them a lot of money. It only cost me $100 and I would sell that for like $300 or $400. So it was big fat margin, but it added value to my product. So I had some people saying the only reason I'm using you is because when the phone calls come in, I can look up the homeowner's address. So I don't have to ask them, hey, you're calling off direct mail. What's your address? What's my address? You just mailed me something in the mail. You should have my address. We built a CRM system. Again, it cost me $100, and I would charge 300-400 for our CRM, our toll-free phone numbers that recorded the phone call. Um, we were constantly launching like new little add-on products that made us different from the competitors. And after I heard from some of our clients, the reason we buy from you, it was never price. We were the most expensive. Um, but it was like adding on little products that added value and made us different. And that took, a couple of years to do it. And every year we were adding something, one new little product that would make us a little more valuable and a little bit different, whatever. I don't know if that helps, but
Absolutely. Yeah, separating yourself from the competition. What is it that's going to separate you, and what is it that's going to create that sense of urgency and scarcity and risk reduction? Those are the things. If you go back to that cursors concept, and I'll post the link here in the chat. Here, let me just. And if you want some simple help, this is one of the tricks that we have learned just utilizing basic technology like Chat GPT. So let me put it here in the chat message so everybody can have access to it. So if you put in this, sorry, didn't copy over. Hold on just one second.
while you're doing that, I'll just share something else. Everybody thinks, well, Jeff, you were in the business to business world, and B2C is so much different. And I'm like, I own a wedding venue. We bought it 3 years ago. We were doing 5 weddings a year, the previous owners. We just did 68 weddings last year. And we're the most expensive wedding venue out of like 20 in Temecula Valley. A wedding here costs 20 grand, and you can go down the street and get it for 16,000. But one of the things we did is we started offering, hey, bride and groom, we'll build you a website where you can manage all your RSVPs, put a pretty picture on it, save the date. So we built a website for the bride, and it cost me like $250, but it justifies why you should get married at Hawk Ranch instead of one of the wedding venues that's in the Temecula Valley wineries, because they're less money than us. But we start adding on these little products that kind of hook them, and we show up different. When you get a wedding here, we build you a custom website with RSVPs. So that you're not buying dinners for people that aren't going to show up. So we kind of help them manage the RSVPs. So it's cheaper in the end because we're going to save you money. Trying to think some of the other things we've done for weddings. We've got a Rolls-Royce Ghost, that 2016 Rolls-Royce, beautiful white Rolls-Royce. So we let them take pictures in the car. I get to ride off my car, which is wonderful, but that no one has a white, beautiful Rolls-Royce that they let people take pictures in. So what does that cost me? Like nothing, but we show up different from everyone else because you can take pictures in the suicide door Rolls-Royce. Your wedding pictures is beautiful car, kind of for weddings, classy. So we're just looking for little things. Don't cost me a lot that I can offer. So that's like tweaking the product a little bit, but making yourself different.
Yeah. So let me just show this very simple thing that you can do using technology. I put it in the chat feature for all of you to see, but let me just show you in real life how this could look. So if you go into Chat GPT, and I just put in what I just posted inside of your chat window for those of you that are watching a recording of it. And Dan is here today. So Dan is from Intellect. Pronunciation, Dan, is it Teleki? Intellecki? How do you pronounce that?
Intellecki.
Intellecki.ai. So he does leadership consulting and coaching, and has a roundtable council of individuals that really want to move into the highest level of leadership. If you go to his website, it's absolutely fantastic. But I'm just going to put in there, help me create an irresistible offer for Dan Silberberg from Intellecki.ai using the below principles. So if I just put in that simple information into the Chat GPT, and I click on this button right here, Chat GPT is going to help Dan to create an offer using its own AI intelligence based on the information that's on his website, and it's just going to work for him, right? So it's creating a sense of urgency. Let's see what else it's got in here. It's still thinking. But now it's going to help Dan to be able to brainstorm on the different ideas using the principles that we talked about today. So, urgency, 14 days, free executive leadership assessment and strategy session. That could be something that he could test. Now, is this a guarantee that Dan's not going to have to test these? No, but it just saved Dan hours of thought and maybe some money from an advanced consultant to help him to come up with an irresistible offer, just taking something that was as simple as a copy and paste into ChatGPT. And if you keep working with this, you may see something in here and say, why don't you rewrite it for me again? I'm not satisfied. Maybe you give it a thumbs up and you say, that's a good response, but give me another version of it. So I'm going to upgrade to 4.0 and I'm going to say, give me another version of it. So now Dan gets even more free information on how to create an irresistible offer. And it just continues to basically self-teach itself how to get better at producing a more irresistible offer. So that's a simple tool that you can play with. We work with our clients to, we understand how to use AI and can help with the prompts to help you to get the right information that matches what it is that you want to offer to the marketplace. But a simple strategy that doesn't take a lot of time and effort if you want to take advantage of that on your own. So let's finish up with the fifth step, and then we'll wrap up and do a little Q&A for anybody that has questions. Hold on just one second. All right, step 5 is making sure that you're maximizing all 4 um, components of lead generation. So obviously, there's lots of different ways you can generate leads that you want to include inside your um, sales playbook. So here you've got warm outreach, people that know you, like you, and trust you, or people that know, like, and trust somebody that you know, like, and trust. That's going to be a warmer outreach than going straight to people that don't know you, don't like you, and don't trust you yet, or they don't know and like and trust somebody that you know. So obviously, you want to start with your warm outreach. That's going to be your most effective, your highest conversion ratio because you've already got trust and credibility and risk reduction because there's some social equity that's involved there, relationship equity. Cold outreach is going to be very popular. Jeff built a $40 million a year business on cold outreach. He didn't focus on warm outreach as his primary form of communication. He targeted a list of mortgage companies that he knew did direct mail after testing and doing some research. And he was able to build a sales team to outbound and do cold outreach to build a business that was worth an 8-figure exit. So you don't have to do all of these, but you may want to look at what can I do to get everything I can out of everything I've got. Paid ads may not be a part of your strategy, or it may be something to explore and to participate in over time. And if you go back into the business optimizer that I shared with everybody, this is a tool that we also can help you to navigate and build out your playbook. So let me pull that up real quick and I'll show it to you. One of the tabs at the bottom, right past the ideal client profile, is the SWOT analysis and the unique value proposition. But this is your marketing plan. So, what are the strategies that you're using for your warm outreach? Do you have, strategies that are built in so that you've got a good steady stream of new incoming leads from your warm target, and then from your cold outreach, from your free content, as well as your paid ads? Now, if you've got multiple targets and you're targeting, lots of different types of client profiles based on products and services, you can break those down differently. But putting together this strategy and plan is going to help you to have a better opportunity to hand that off to somebody to execute on it, and then building that out into your calendar. What does the month of October or the month of November look like? Do you have a strategy and action plan that's going to help you to win more sales? And Unfortunately, most business owners and top sales leaders do not. They're doing the flavor of the month. They're throwing stuff up against the wall and they don't have a good strategy. And that's one of the reasons why we love being able to come and partner with them, because we can bring them the tools and resources to execute on these 5 steps in a way that most of them have never been able to have access to. So not only do we give them the opportunity to find the prospects through our premium data and our different data sources, but we give them the expertise on how to find them at the best affordable cost. We can append for mobile numbers, we can append for LinkedIn addresses, and then we can actually facilitate the LinkedIn outreach using our digital outreach platform, BDR.ai. We can actually facilitate those conversations. We can send up to 100 to 200 connection requests a week, and then we can get you connected to 20 to 40% of the people that we reach out to on your behalf. And then you can start moving them through a nurturing sequence. And you can see on the right-hand side, this is a customized platform where we can utilize a lot of different technological features to be able to build out that nurturing sequence so that you've got really good quality conversations happening. And it's not happening based upon how you felt that day or whether or not your assistant showed up. It's happening predictably based upon the algorithms and the technologies that we've put into play. And this is the services that we offer to business owners. And so if you have an interest in partnering or learning more, you can go to bdr.ai and look at the solutions page. These are our most common options for people. We have a starter package that's a basic package. It's only $250 a month with a one-time $500 onboarding fee. And we basically do all of the automation from a digital outreach. We give you 1,000 targeted leads, and we give you the ability to enrich those leads with the best quality email and contact information to give you a really good chance of connecting with those people. If you don't want to manage the LinkedIn outreach and don't want to manage the communication, we actually have a hands-off, fully managed service, which is our growth platform, and we'll manage all of the outreach on your behalf. And primarily, we're doing business to business on this, not necessarily business to consumer. And then if you want to scale up and have a outbound dialing capacity, we can partner you up with our outbound dialer where we can connect you to 10 to 12 live contacts every hour. And that technology is something that we can explain to you at a later time. And then if you want to just basically outsource your sales, we actually have business development representatives that are standing by, that are ready to step in and help you to grow your business. You can simply just partner with us and we'll handle everything. We'll handle the data, we'll handle the digital outreach, and we'll handle the dials and booking appointments for you. And it's less expensive than going out there and finding somebody. So anyway, without any further ado, I'll just ask Jeff, do you have any final comments or anything that you want to add in?
I would like to jump into questions about what their biggest challenge is to scale their business from whether it's $1 million to 10 million, 10 million to 100,000 to a million. I mean, I'm just kind of curious, like, list an offer. That's what we got to work on. Who's your target list and what offer?
Let's start with Dan. Dan and I just talked today. He does a leadership focus, focusing in on business owners, high growth C-suite employees, in tech, pharma, biotech, financial services, and wealth management. So that's his target audience. Dan, do you have any questions that based on what we covered just now?
Yeah, before we get into the business, I just need to know between Jeff and David, who's mom's favorite?
As I said once before, but my mom never gave birth to a fool, and if she did, it was my brother.
I see.
But he's the older brother, so I've been punished for many years. So he's 2 years older than me, so we'll
So
give
Jeff,
him a hard time.
a couple of things that I found interesting about what you said. When you look at a mortgage broker, to me, that's pretty specific. When I'm selling leadership, that's an abstraction. And so when you could go from 1,000 potentials to, or 100,000 to the 1,000, I'm interested how you take an abstract other than I know the industries, I know the titles, I know the income levels, I know the industry, I know a lot of that, but I don't really understand the abstract. And the second thing is doing some Google work. What I found, which blew me away, 80% of people searching for leader development are only in 2 cities, New York and Washington, D.C. Silicon Valley, which I thought because of startups and leadership and absolutely not worth the time. So am I focused on those two cities and then trying to figure out? So I identified industries, but am I better off doing, or do you all do some research? If I told you that information, would you be able to help narrow the focus for me?
Well, you just said a lot, and I'm thinking about a friend of mine who's a consultant that lives in San Jose and does coaching for like Oracle, some big Cisco, $100,000 consulting contracts. I wonder if there's so many people offering it around the Silicon Valley. No one's going on Google and searching because they're all coming at them and they're all well known in the area because there's no way that leaders in the Bay Area aren't looking for consulting. But that's funny that the searches on Google are coming from New York and DC. That's really interesting because I know there's so many companies looking for leadership help and so many big growing companies, but makes you wonder if they're not going on Google searching. Is there so many companies calling them or well known up there? All those investment bankers that are, hey, we'll give you $100 million to buy 10% of your company, and then you're going to come into the fold here, like and we're going to help you grow your company. You don't need any outside help. There's a lot of guys up in Northern California that have big money that are investing. And once they invest, like you think of Uber,
Yeah.
the CEO of Uber, he sold off part of the company and then they brought him into the fold and started coaching him and eventually getting him out because he was nuts, you know? Um, so it's an interesting thought. I think that there's companies everywhere looking for leadership training. I
And
think
then
back.
and the second thing I shared with Dave is that I have a belief that to $150,000 leader program mastermind council for a year tends to be more from someone calling you and saying, "Hey, Jeff, I'm working with Dan. The results I'm getting are exceptional. I want to make that introduction for you." How does that to me seems to be the driver at the level more so than just creating a social media presence. But I'm interested in particularly the direct response game. How do I leapfrog that you got that call from so and so?
So one thing I'm thinking about just off the top of my head is let's say you do a $100,000 coaching program for a CEO of a $20 million company. We go on LinkedIn and look at the 2,000 people he's connected with, and we go after his or her second degree connections because they already know him. They're connected on LinkedIn. So that could be like getting referrals without asking for them. You're just going out on LinkedIn connecting with all of his or her friends and they know them. So the message could be, hey, I did some coaching for Jeff Bush at Overflow Company and I saw you were connected to him on LinkedIn. Wanted to kind of share some of this. So that's kind of a warm kind of referral marketing without even waiting because you know how hard it is for someone to refer you to someone and give you a number. They don't like doing that. That's hard. In our business, we'd have a very successful mortgage client and we'd ask for referrals and they go, I don't want you doing business with my competitors because that's going to hurt me. So they wouldn't refer on purpose. It was hard. We didn't get a good referral service because so anyways, it's just something that I'm thinking about is doing some sort of campaign around, if you have a handful of happy clients and you just go after their LinkedIn. A lot of these guys have 5, 10,000 followers on LinkedIn and, birds of a feather flock together. So if they're doing 20 million, I'm sure they have some people in their group. Some are doing 5 and some are doing 50 million, but it could be the prospects. And actually we could take all that data in and append what's their title, make sure we're not going after his cousin in Maine who has nothing to do with business, right? So that is honing that list to try to find the right people who are likely to buy your offer through influence from others, but also they're qualified. If you're charging 150 grand for coaching, that's not $1 million company. It's probably 10 million plus. So finding the people that can afford it, right? That's important. So one of the things we did, see if I think I could tell you this. So there's 100,000 mortgage companies. I found a company that collects all the direct mail that they get. They have thousands of people. And they said, Jeff, for $20,000 a year, we'll give you a list of every mortgage company doing direct mail and a copy of the mail piece. And I was like, what? Yeah. Yeah. So I spent $20,000 for a direct mail subscription, and I found 1,000 mortgage companies that were buying direct mail. So instead of calling 100,000 people, I had my 20 sales reps just calling the 1,000. We probably onboarded 500 customers over 5 years. And people told me, Jeff, you're crazy to spend $20,000 on a list. I go, you're crazy not to. It told me who my prospects were. I'm only calling people that are already buying this service from my competitors. It was amazing what a good list can do. So I don't know, how we can find, CEOs who spend $100,000 on coaching. I mean, I think of, Vistage CEO Group. They're paying $2,000 a month, $2,500 a month to be in Vistage. They're already paying $30,000. So I'm leaning into Vistage's growing companies. What's the other one? Is it YP, Young Presidents?
Yeah,
YPO. So if they're involved in YPO, they're spending a lot of money already. They're interested in growth. So they already have a budget for this. So it's all about that list. There might be, a million, how many? Maybe 500,000 CEOs in America. We want to get down to the 5,000. They're currently spending, they're growing, they're just, and then annihilate that list. Like not one phone call a year. I mean, call, email, LinkedIn, because we know that they've got the budget and they're buying it. So that's the difference of like trying to screen down that target audience of people, paying for coaching, growing companies. If they're on the Inc. 5000 list, I go on to Inc. 5000. I data input at every company in the Inc. 5000 list. So these guys are growing so fast. I know they have money. I was going after lists of people that had a Series A funding round. I found out if somebody goes out and raises $10 million in capital, 60% of that is spent on sales and marketing. 60%. So if someone just got $1 million or 10 million, they got a budget. They got to go use that money to grow. How are they growing? Sales and marketing. So I'm going to be there for them at that time. So again, good data is good timing. They just got funded. They got $1 million. They got 10 million. They're going to be spending it. They have to. They're required to grow when they borrow that capital. So, PitchBook is a great data source for funding. You can see who's getting funded, but being very diligent and not the right word, deliberate, being deliberate about what you're looking for and finding that. It takes some work, but you can build that list, and then all your efforts go into the list of people that are qualified and most likely to buy your product without knowing your product 100%. But,
So is that a strategy session the three of us can have?
Excuse me, I have to walk to my next meeting. I have to get off. Thank you very much. It's been very informative.
Thanks. We'd love to schedule a time to talk further, Marianne.
Okay, thank you again.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, Dan, let's definitely connect up for that. And before we wrap up here, Briar, is there anything question-wise that you have for Jeff or I based on what we've covered so far?
Yeah. First off, really impressive. I think you guys are nailing the marketing, nailing what you need to think about the business. You got your processes kind of written down, looked at, follow those steps. You're going to be successful at those things. A successful business has to be doing all those things. But you kind of formalized it. So kudos.
Thanks.
The next thing was that for me, like a list development thing, our challenge is that we are a distributed brand. So it's our brand. We come up with the designs, we build them, put them in, get them in our warehouse, sell them to distributors who then in turn sell to motorcycle dealerships. I can see the writing on the wall that form of distribution is dying. And so I'm now putting in an initiative to go, we got to go also dealer direct. So our challenge is to identify those dealers. And roughly there's 15,000 motorcycle dealers in the United States, 5,000 of which you'd want to talk to. And you can buy lists and whatnot of how many are Honda dealers, Suzuki dealers, that type of thing. And that's about as far as the list goes. It doesn't give you the context, their emails, and I've yet have anybody talk about how important LinkedIn is in our industry. And I'm hearing you going, no, that's really important.
Yeah, it's funny. I own 17 motorcycles, and 2 of them have factory effects graphics on them from years ago. So I know your product, and it's funny. Yeah, I'm just big into motorcycles, and I went to elementary school with Jeremy McGrath, so we used to carpool together. Supercross champion of the world, so I've been around it. But yeah, it's like, all the dealers that might buy your product, but then you think about how many independents are out there now, independent motorcycle, mechanics that are buying graphics and putting them on for their customers. I haven't been to a motorcycle dealer to wrench my bikes in 15 years. I got 2 independents that just get stuff in and out for half the price. And if I want graphics, I'd probably call Hoodie. He's the KTM factory mechanic for the old race team that opened a shop here in Murrieta. I'd want to get in front of him and go, hey, if any of your customers want graphics, I don't know, he might only buy 10 a year, not like a dealer who might be buying 10 a month. But I think about how many people are in the motorcycle industry outside the dealers that nobody's really talking to. Could we build more distribution, more sales? Because these guys have.
They think of you, you're the source.
Yeah.
First thing in mind, you're the first guy in the Rolodex. Eric, go. Here's all the ways to get a hold of us.
Yeah.
Like all that type thing.
Most of these guys that own these motorcycle shops, they used to be factory mechanics at Honda, KTM, and they left. They got tired of corporate America, had opened up their own shop. They took half the customers with them. They've got very successful shops, and they're doing upgrades. They're doing Excel, gold, black wheels. They're doing graphic. It's not just like they're wrenching the bike. So I think about, where's there a list of people? And we've got their business name, their LinkedIn, their email, their phone number. So we go into our database and pull those 10,000 out that maybe nobody's really talking to. That would be kind of interesting to just look at that expansion outside of the dealer world. My friend just sold Temecula Harley Davidson. I think, trying to think of, but street bikes and Harleys are not as much a factory effects, right? It's more.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
But 2 different worlds.
Yeah.
But that's sort of our challenge and I want to step it up significantly in selling to the dealers. I think there's a way that we can identify the dealers. One, get that list. And then I really resonate with what you say is like concentrate on a list that call the 1,000, not 5,000, call the 1,000 that are really most likely. Get your traction going with them. And then expand. You got to learn, you got to walk a little bit. What's working, what's not working, type thing.
Do you typically sell to the parts manager? Is he the one bringing you on as parts or accessories, or accessories manager?
Yes. Somebody that's at the counter.
Right.
That type of thing.
So yeah, Joe, in terms of, targeting your list and then getting down your approach, making sure that you've got a good, valuable offer to get them to have a conversation with you. We'd love to just, roll up our sleeves, Briar, and get into a conversation where we could maybe end up making some connections. And if our services are a good fit, then we'd love to partner with you. And if there's a way that we can maybe connect you to other people, I know Jeff's got some big connections in terms of others that are in the dealer world that may be valuable. So let's schedule a follow-up conversation. But in the meantime, thanks for joining us for this session on developing and optimizing your sales playbook to grow sales.
And what I'd like to do is you had those slides. Can I get a copy of those slide decks?
Absolutely.
And then also that your B.LT business optimizer thing.
Yeah. I'll send you an email follow-up with everything. And if anybody else has any questions watching a recording of this, please reach out to bdr.ai and contact us, and we'll get you more details. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Business Builders Playbook. If this episode gave you some plays that you can start running in your business today, hit subscribe and share with another revenue leader who's tired of the pipeline grind. Building predictable revenue isn't something you figure out alone. Whether you're looking to automate your prospecting with BDR.ai, or you just want to talk through the growth challenges you're facing, reach out. We help business leaders just like you to build systems that actually scale. And if you're ready to stop being your company's highest paid prospector, let's have a conversation. Reach out to us at BDR.ai. Until next time, let's keep building.